Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, with my lovely co-host, Michelle, up top. How are you doing tonight, Michelle?
Oh, I'm ecstatic. I'm so ecstatic. What a beautiful episode.
Yes, we are. And how are you, Fanta? Coming on the bottom today?
I am also, I feel like all of these different good feelings about this episode.
Me too. So if you're not familiar, we're talking about episode 2 of the challenge, All Stars. And what was the name of the title? All That You Can't Leave Behind. I think that this needs to be workshopped a little bit. It's a little bit long. Can we think of something better? I don't know. Friends?
In all capital letters, it was 16 years ago.
Okay. I mean, that's probably equally as long. But it was 16 years ago. So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But 6, yeah, no, it's shortening it a little bit. But it was 16 years ago. And so I was a little bit wrong when I was thinking, maybe it's your Anissa talk, that's she's giving her coaching advice.
I know. When you were saying that last week, I was like, she seemed pissed. But I think it's there. I think that's why it's so big of a fight, because they had such a friendship, but they haven't been close of recent years, I guess.
Hi, Sam. Thanks for joining us. So Sam says, okay, but this whole 2 episodes have been better than the whole Double Agent season. Agree or disagree? Okay, you're both nodding. Why, Fanta? Why, Michelle? Whoever wants to go first. Why?
Well, I don't know. It's just every episode just has so much of everything. It's got drama. It's got good dailies. It's got really, really fun confessionals. You just care about every single person so much. And they're just giving us everything. We'll talk about it later, but even in terms of the deliberations, the deliberations are so interesting. I find myself at the start of every episode, I'm I can't wait to for this part and this part. It just, everything is so good.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I agree. And also that elimination is one of my favorite challenge classic eliminations. It's just one-on-one, but you have to be able to have endurance to be able to keep going when you have to switch, and you have to be smart about what you're doing, and you have to be strong, but no one's beating each other up. So it's just one of my favorites. And I feel like the better person always wins in that type of elimination. So I loved that. It was a cap on a beautiful episode. And I love trivia, and I love that it was challenge trivia. I was yes, this is everything.
Oh, okay. But before we get there, because we're going to talk a lot about the challenge trivia, because it was most of the episode, to be fair. We kind of in the beginning, we see Derrick in the hot tub for the scene, and you're just I don't know. I feel they're just so light. They're just so happy. They love being on the show. And I guess for what it feels like for a lot of the new people in the new seasons, that it's more like a paycheck. And I keep on talking about it. It's they're fans of this show, and it shows. And it's really enjoyable to watch people that want to be there, not just for the money, but for the fact, A, it is still a camp reunion. Regardless of whether or not the challenges may be a little bit harder and they're a little bit older, it's a reunion. And I just love everything about it. So
it's so interesting that you say that, because even in the beginning when Derrick goes up to Kendall, and Kendall is I'm just trying to understand why I'm here. I'm trying to find my purpose. And she's because it's not for the money. And I thought that was really interesting. I was huh.
Well, I thought at that moment that it was setting up that she was going to be going in. I was from the first 10 minutes, I was okay, so Trishelle is already sitting on the bed talking to Katie, who she says she trusts the most. It's okay, she's probably going to have a fight with Katie. And I didn't want to fight her friendship. I'm oh boy. Okay, so they're in a room together and they trust her the most, and she doesn't want to be the first going home. I'm okay, so this is probably what's going to happen. Trichelle's probably going to go home, and it's probably going to be at the hands of Katie in some capacity, or be blamed for something. And then when Kendall's having that moment with Derrick, and she's I don't even really know why I'm here. I'm oh God, so it's going to be Trishelle against Kendall. That's what I was thinking. Did you have any thoughts like that, Michelle?
I mean, I didn't jump to that conclusion immediately. I definitely thought that Kendall would be one of the first girls thrown in because she has the least connections and she's only been on one season. So I would have suspected that. With Trishelle, I was like, maybe she's going to get the vote. Like, maybe she gets voted in and that's why she has the fight with Katie. Like, I was already thinking it a little bit. But then from what I had imagined, which we'll get to, like, in my mind, I was like, well, I know she was in other episodes based on certain things I've seen in the trailer. So that means that, like, if she isn't an elimination, she'll win kind of thing. So I wasn't even really, like, I hadn't really gone that far yet.
I don't know. It was the first thing that I was thinking because they're a little bit shorter episodes, which I'm loving because they just like jam it packed with goodness. And so I was like, they're not really putting this in for no reason. So I felt that like it was the obvious storyline that they want to take us down the path of these two women. That's what it seemed like to me. But it's also like I'm looking for everything. I'm like, okay, what are they doing that for a reason? No, I'm definitely not just sitting back and enjoying the episode. I'm like looking for any clues as to what's going to be happening.
I think we watch in very different ways because I just shut off all the lights and I was like drinking a cocktail. Like, I love this show.
I mean, I would love to be doing it that way too, but then I'm like, oh shoot, I need to take notes. If I do watch it twice, so I'm like, if I watch it the first time, I'll just watch it to chill, and then I'll watch it to take notes. But if I only watch it once, like, yeah, I'm always just like scrutinizing, like, oh, why do they do that? One thing I did want to say is R.I.P. because remember we commented last week that DMX's song was on the challenge. And we're just like, oh my God, this reminds us of the 90s. So unfortunately, he passed away today. So thank you, DMX, for like, I don't know, I guess it was timing and it was like an angel moment where it was like played on the challenge. I hadn't really thought about DMX in a really, really long time. And so it was nice to be reminded of him and reminded of like, that was part of my youth. And so hopefully his family and children are all okay.
Yeah.
Definitely want to say something about that, especially since in the beginning too, they had this chill hip hop that was playing when they're walking in the house. Did you see when Mark Long took Latterian's hand and like put his hand up to make it walk like he's the champ? And I was like, Mark really wants people to have a good time. Like you could see that this is his baby. This is his passion project. Like he wants these old guys to like feel what it feels like to be a champ again. And I don't know. I love Mark Long now, even more.
Me too.
Yeah.
Even more. So we did get the scene where Anissa and Trishelle are speaking. And so I thought it was a really mature conversation. Trishelle was apologizing. They're both getting emotional. Nobody's getting heated. Were either of you surprised by how both of them handled this conversation?
No.
No, we're not surprised by Anissa. For sure. She takes everything pretty like maturely and she forgives people like a lot. Like she lets go of things and is, so I would expect that from her. From Trishelle, yeah, I was a little surprised. I wasn't sure if it was going to lead into something bad later, like a Nelson moment where it's like, oh, I'm apologizing, but also I'm saying something worse now. Like I wasn't sure if it was going to go in that direction. But yeah, no, it was a nice moment for sure to get to like reconcile that after so many years.
I think it was to counteract the fact that she's not going to be mature and rational when she has her conversation with Katie. Definitely not the same ballpark on how they handled a beef, we'll say. I definitely, I agree with you, Michelle. Anissa is a lot more mature. She doesn't pop off like she used to. She always used to kind of act as though her back was up against the wall and people were always attacking her. And so she was always ready to fight. And so she has definitely matured, mellowed out, and like is somebody that you could talk to, especially if you had beef. So I love the scene. I like seeing them hug at the end. I like seeing them squashing everything. Fanta, did you love it too?
I did really like that scene. Because thinking about that, like I hated that in Rivals. Like I hated that fight and I hated how like Trishelle just didn't really like deal with it and just like left. Mm-hmm. So I'm super happy. I was very happy with what I thought was Trishelle's progression and then that later on.
So true. I was like, oh my God, growth. Wow, great.
Yeah, like this I was like, wow, Trishelle, like this season, this is your season, girl.
They set us up good. They're good. They did. So we get to the daily. The daily is TJ's favorite and pretty much all of our favorite. You mentioned it already, but it was ancient challenge history. It's trivia and trivia all about past seasons of the challenge. So I thought it was great. And one thing that I learned on the after show is that Nehemiah did study. And so I'm wondering if maybe Anissa also studied to be able to do well. So, I mean, there was tons of highlights in this trivia challenge. Who wants to go with their first highlight that they're like, oh my God, it was epic?
I'm trying to think specifically. I mean, I loved, sorry, go ahead.
Who was it that, can we just go at anything?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't remember who fell through, but they started playing like En Vogue.
You're never gonna get it. That one?
And then it was just like in slow-mo, and I just like started cackling, and I was like, this is the best thing ever.
I mean, I really liked how it was the planks, because even though to me that's actually scarier because you don't know when you're going to exactly break through. And for me, like my fear of heights is a lot about being on unstable ground. So if I'm really high up but I feel secure, it's fine, like in a plane. But if it feels shaky, that's when I'm scared. And so to purposely try to break through something is like horrifying to me. But it was hilarious to watch the different people fall and like just to see how much information, like Jemmye knew quite a bit. Beth knew like more than I thought she was going to know. Obviously Nehemiah knew a bunch, like he obviously been studying. And who else? Anissa and Ruthie back and forth.
Yeah, the back and forth was so fun to watch.
Yeah, it was so fun.
Studied. So she went back. You can tell and see this. That's what I'm saying. These are people that are coming back to win. They wanted to brush up on their old seasons, what they didn't know, maybe dynamics of people that they could be playing with. I thought it was really the smart people that are there to actually win. I think are the ones that study.
And like preparing, like they're like, okay, this could potentially be like really crazy, as opposed to somebody like Kendall who's like, I don't know what to expect. We're just gonna hang out.
Mm. Yeah, not my strategy personally. Now, were you guys as disappointed as I was that we didn't get to hear all the questions? I wanted to hear every single question.
Yeah, but I knew they weren't going to just because there was just too many. But I agree. I would have loved to hear all of them. I was trying to answer them like immediately before them. And I did get quite a few. I got some wrong, or like there was a few I might have not exactly known or remembered. But most of them I knew. And I was like, oh, this is so fun.
Yeah, it's fun when you know it and you're like, yeah, Brad got that wedgie.
Yeah. Oh, obviously, like that moment's iconic.
So iconic. So they talk about, the first pole wrestling. And so we already just had heard that. But me and Michelle had also recently watched the duel, but I was like, yes, like this is coming into play already. Anissa doing the first pole wrestling. And I didn't even realize that it was the first. You know when you just like, right now it's something that's always there. I didn't even realize that was the first one until Anissa said. Super cool. It must have been maybe Syrus falling, I think, Fanta, that was never going to get it. Because I wrote down Syrus falling, so I don't know what it was in reference to.
I sworn it was a woman.
Oh, maybe it's a woman.
But I can't. I like watched it twice. Oh, you guys.
Definitely super fun. It was kind of like, it lets you go down memory lane, especially with them cutting in and out of like the history of it all.
Yeah. Poor Katie. Oh my God. Like,
yeah,
I was so scared to do this challenge. And she's just like, the last time I was like suspended was like, what, like 10 years ago. I got 2 black eyes. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I was like, I'm so happy she's doing this because she's just going to get over her fear. Like, she's going to be like, you know what? This is like totally nothing. Cut to 3 minutes later, she falls through and hits her face, and her face is all bloody, like coming out of the water. I was like,
Yeah,
Oh,
but wasn't it such a good Katie moment when they're like, hey, blah, blah, blah. She's like, shut the fuck up. Like, she just yelled
Before that, she's like,
at
I
her.
put my face again, you fuckers! And then she's like swimming in like the blood, and then she's
I just love her reactions.
oh my gosh, so funny.
so perfect, so perfectly Katie. You can hear the sound of Kate, like that Katiness, you know, like like it was so good. One thing that was awesome, I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter, but when Trishelle had to answer something about Johnny Bananas, so Sam's favorite part was Trishelle's comment about not caring about freaking Johnny Bananas, and then later on, Johnny Bananas on Twitter is like, whatever, you're off my Christmas list now, Trishelle. Like, kind of like rolls her back, like they're not friends anymore. Really funny. Nicole, Sam. Oh, sorry, Sam agrees with Nicole. Back, vice versa. I don't know. I'm just got confused. Who knows? What was it? Some other trivia stuff. Beth saying that she could always trust tenderloinies. That was, yeah. So I'm wondering what's going to happen with that, because there's been a couple sound bites each episode about Beth really liking Nehemiah. So spoiler alert, Nehemiah wins for the boys. So he would be having the power of the, whatchamacallit?
Lifesaver.
And
so, Beth thinks that she's going to be safe with Nehemiah, her tenderoni.
Like, why would he ever? I mean, he has actual friends in there. That's the thing. He's like, if I have to protect a friend, I'm going to do it. He's that kind of guy. She's not even in that category. And like, I'm not saying he wouldn't help her out at some point if he could. Like, he doesn't wish ill upon her, I'm sure. But like, I don't see him going out of his way to help her. Not with the other alliances he probably has.
I know. I mean, I think she is hoping that she would be able to persuade him. But I feel like this is not going to play out very well. Yeah, you agree?
I totally agree. Every time she references that, like calls him like her tenderoni or whatever, talks about Nehemiah, I just cringe because I'm like, you're going to be so blindsided at some point this season. Like something is going to happen. And
I do like seeing like the clip of Anissa screaming, "I don't need a gauntlet, bitch. I would cut you with words." And like, she didn't guess. That was Katie's fault. Yeah, that she didn't guess that it was.
I love how Anissa turns over and she was like, "It was me."
And she's like, "You were there.
Yeah.
You heard it."
Poor Katie. I mean, I love Katie. I think she's gold. And she doesn't look to me like she's aged at all.
She looks better than ever.
She's so good.
It is crazy. Like most of them look like they haven't aged. Like Nehemiah looks like he has not aged.
No. Not at all.
It's crazy. Most of them look quite good.
Even like some people, the only difference is that maybe they've gained some weight or lost a lot of weight. But like other than that, like I think everybody looks quite youthful. Okay, so Natalie says, Laurel said that she could be on the second All-Stars. Would you like to see who's not on this season's All-Stars? Yeah, well, I would like to see who's not. But I would love to see Laurel on it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see.
She was a fresh meat too? Was she?
Yes. I'm really craving like a Laurel and Casey head-to-head and Laurel just taking Casey out.
I don't remember who Casey is. I've been tainted by
Casey. I mean, in the season that shall not be named.
She's talking about Big Brother Casey.
Big Brother Casey.
Oh, it is that Casey when they're talking. Oh, I just like completely was like, am I forgetting a Casey from?
No, the Casey you're forgetting is the blonde one who was partnered with Wes on Fresh Meat 1.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's who I'm always picturing, or not like I'm just like a blank person.
She
but
was on the way, like she was almost in this one. She was in the group that was like her, Kahada, Cook. There was like 5 of them that got like, they went to the place and then were told they weren't cast or whatever.
Why didn't you cast Kahada?
I know, I love him. But also, I would love to see Evelyn.
Kahada and Kellyanne reunited.
Yeah.
Woo! That would have been so juicy. Yes, us too, Nicole. We love the clips going on. It's just like it really. I'm gonna have to watch a whole season of something old because I need to get my fix back on these people. Especially, I'm not sure if it was Michelle or Fanta, but they shared with me Banana's stories, and it was it was Kenny's birthday, and they're all out to dinner. Kenny, Evan, and Bananas, and I guess maybe Kenny's wife or girlfriend, and it was just like, oh my god, I miss those guys, because even they're still kind of goofy and joking around and feeding each other, and I'm like, oh man, why did you guys have to fuck up however you fucked up? Because like I really loved Kenny and Evan. I love them so much.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole other kind of can of worms to get into. I agree, like they could have been like, I mean, they're more charismatic than Bananas is, like hands down.
They were definitely more popular than him before they left.
Yeah, but I just think in general, like it's interesting. I'm obviously everyone knows I'm rewatching old seasons, and one of my other friends is rewatching old seasons as well. And what we really keep talking about is like how awful everyone was to Tanya.
Yeah, it's
and
the worst.
Really, like the thing with Evan and Kenny was like they were like, okay, let's see how far we can really push this with her. And everyone went too far. And I always wonder, like in watching these old seasons, I always wonder, like, how does the cast like reckon with how they treated Tanya? Because if I ever like rewatched that as a cast member, I would be like, I feel horrible. What I did was like
apology calls. I wouldn't be surprised.
Like it's so insane. I'm like, this poor woman like didn't do anything, and
It's
she's
so sad.
being emotionally abused by all of these people. It's crazy.
Yeah. To be honest, I was never really a Kenny stan. I recognize that he was really good and he was charming, but I always find him to be a little bit too cocky in a way that I didn't like. I was always like someone who really liked Evan.
I was Evan over Kenny, but I liked
and I liked Evan, but then I hated Evan how he left. Like he fucked over Nehemiah, who was his partner, and he was a dick to him that whole season. They got out really early. He wasn't like in shape or up to par, and he just was like, apparently I heard later that he left because he had something he had to do or whatever. So I was disappointed how he ended his journey with that season. But that said, he's had some really epic moments, and you know, he was first like Canadian on it and stuff. So he was always great to watch.
Yeah, I was a fan. I wish it didn't end the way that it did with those two. I wish that there was growth before they had to be, you know, ejected from the show. So, oh well, maybe Fessy will be the new Kenny or Evan. I go. Okay, so are these people trying to take out poor Katie? Jesus, I know, poor Katie. But I'm happy that she didn't get 2 black eyes. Apparently they took 6 weeks to heal those 2 black eyes that when she had in her last season. I don't know if I would be excited to come back.
And the process of healing for black eyes, like it's not like it's like turns like yellow and like
Kellyanne just taking the L when she didn't know the answer killed me. I know.
Yes.
I was like, you're so badass, Kellyanne.
She's so badass. Yes.
I have so much love for Kellyanne.
Me too. I want to see more of her, but what I'm realizing is that they see, maybe because it's only an hour, or maybe the fact that they weren't sure like if it's going to be a hit or not. They just want to get to the story, because like I wanted to see more of some of the other people, like not just like the big main storyline. So I'm wondering if the following seasons might be a little bit longer so they can have in a little bit more other storylines going at the same time. I don't know. What do you guys think about? Did you notice that? Like, I want to see what Kellyanne's doing and like, what's her thoughts about certain.
But I feel like that's what they used to be. They used to be 30-minute episodes, and it was always the main storyline, you know?
Yeah, like 20 minutes without commercials.
I know. And when we were watching the duel, sorry?
They were so quick.
They were really quick, bite-sized, just plow through an
It's still good with the time that it is. And I know that like as it'll dwindle down or whatever, we'll get to see more of other people.
I definitely like the length, but I do just want just maybe one confessional from at least everybody each episode, maybe. Is that?
It's just because we actually like everyone because no one's a rookie, right?
Yeah.
So because it's all people that we want to see their thoughts.
Yeah.
But if it was a regular season,
Like,
I don't want to hear from all these people every time, you know?
Very true. Good point. Nicole, I'm agreeing with you here. So real though, is Arissa okay? She doesn't look the best. I am worried. I'm worried for her. I don't know if, she's just very thin or whatnot, but to me, she doesn't look like she's in the best of health. So I hope that she is. I haven't heard anything otherwise, but it's worrisome how thin she is.
Yeah, that really her confessional where she was like talking about like, oh, I'm so happy that like this is like we can actually focus on like brains and it's not all gone. And she like lifted her arm up. I was like, I like gasped. I was like, oh my God. Like I hope she's okay for sure. That was like very.
They wouldn't let her on the show if she wasn't though, right? Can we just take solace in that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that she's okay to the point that like if she's in the show and she had to quarantine for 2 weeks in another country or wherever they are, I don't know where they are, but I'm sure she had to pass certain tests. I'm sure she's okay to a certain degree, but I feel like maybe up till recently she wasn't, maybe, or there's she's kind of was going through something and is still maybe on the tail end of it, or I don't know,
maybe.
Sorry.
Yeah. Like this was her way out. It's like whatever.
Yeah, because she doesn't seem like I mean she stood on the plank, right, and like dropped through. Like she didn't she was still able to do the challenge, even if, So I don't know. She doesn't seem fully okay, but I don't know. Sorry, my thoughts are just that I don't know.
I know. I just really hope that she's okay because
yeah.
Me right now when I see her, I feel like it's like a red flag. It's like something's not okay here. I need help. And so if that's true, I hope she's getting the help that she needs. If it's not, I don't need to be commenting on her appearance, but it just has been worrisome to me. And so I hope that she's okay and getting the help that she needs.
Yeah.
I hope so. Oh. Laurel versus Emily, my dream elimination.
Yeah, but not mine because then one of them has to go home.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
I need them on a team together or separate, but both in a final.
Yeah, I agree. I've
heard about Emily. I don't think she would ever come back though.
She did a Trans versus Stars once. I could see her maybe coming back for this new type of thing, Challenge All Stars. I don't see her going back to the other regular challenge.
She would, because recently she said she's like, I want to go back, but like I really want to make sure that it's like individual.
Yeah.
She said that within like the last few seasons. So I'm sure like these people, like, they would get FOMO. All of the All-Stars, all the OGs will watch this and they'd be like, are you fucking kidding me?
I'm sure Cora was like
homes, and they're like, I can fucking do $500,000 just for me. Mark, when's the next one?
I know. I want to go on it.
He probably got like 50 calls like after the first episode of this.
Everybody's like, sign me up, sign me up, sign me up. Like I'm sure that they have season 2 ready to go. Now, do you think if they do a season 2 that'll be all new, like a whole cast of new people, or do you think anybody will be from season 1?
I think some people will stay from season 1.
Yeah,
like,
I think
Anissa's never going away.
It makes me feel so good that I think that they're creating something now that's even better than the current season. And like, I just want the current season people to be like, I want to be on that one. And it's like, you're just not a legend, baby. Sorry. Hi, Xavier. So Xavier says, I was hoping to see Laurel back on the main challenge. I'd love to see her either work closely or go head to head with Cam. How are her and Cam?
I think they're fine, but they didn't really they were on that War of the Worlds where Laurel got fucked over like early because Cara had that big alliance with Cam and all them, and they turned on her after she turned on Wes.
Ninja? That one?
Sorry? Yeah, that big like alliance that Cara and Polly had. So she got fucked over, so she was not really on the same side as Cam. But I think she recognizes that Cam's a beast, and she doesn't. I don't think they have any beef or anything. So
I don't remember them talking very much on that season.
But I can imagine them being on the same season. Cam would want Laurel out immediately because, like, why bring her to the end? That's the problem with these, like, fierce women that I want to see all in a final, but they're smart enough to know not to bring each other to the end.
They're like, oh, the guys, you can bring all the big guys to the end and help me win this final.
Yeah.
It's so funny to see how that progression happened with the challenge. Like, in the beginning, everyone's like, integrity, get rid of the weak people. And then, like, slowly it turned into this thing that people were like, wait a second, why are we keeping the strong people till the end?
Mm-hmm. Very true. Oh, okay, good question. So what is your dream elimination you want or never got?
In what?
Let's do it in this. Let's do it in this one that we're watching now. So in the OG season, and then maybe of all time.
Like of people in this one?
Yeah, sure. Let's do this one first, and then, or even somebody from this season that you might want to see battle somebody else. Who has rivalries right now? I wouldn't mind seeing Laurel versus new Casey. Like, I want to see somebody that is not scared of Casey. That's good. She will tackle. Like,
yeah,
that's
what. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. Go ahead.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like, I really want somebody to just knock Casey on her ass, like, so badly. And I would love for it to be an OG. Like, I would love for an OG to just, like, knock Casey on her ass. I'd love for an OG to, like, knock Fessy on his ass. Because I think about, like, I think about Cam. Like, Cam, I think she's, like, a vet now. But, like, she's confident enough, but she would never be like cocky enough to like, she would never be so cocky to like say like, oh yeah, like Laurel's like an old bitch or something like that.
No, she'd recognize these people are strong. Like she wanted to partner with CT at the beginning, or like there's people that she would know to be like legit.
Yeah, exactly.
Wouldn't that be so delicious to see? Even if it was like Hall Brawl with like Laurel versus Casey, just like it'd be so good, like so good, because Laurel gives no F's whatsoever. Xavier would like to see Jisela and Anissa to come back. I don't want to see. I don't mind seeing them come back to the regular season, not at all. But I'm really liking them on this, like in this season. I don't know if I need to see Jisela hanging out with those young kids. One thing that she was saying on the after part of the after show was like, this is what I want to talk about next. Anyways, is the fact that Kendall didn't like step on the actual plank. She jumps over, and then in the deliberation, she doesn't even own up to the fact that she just didn't want to jump. So what Jisela was saying in the after show, she's like, we're in our 40s. Why are you lying? Like, just own up to your shit. Like, I can see if you're on the old, like the new challenge, and you have these 24-year-olds that you're hanging out with, and you're gonna lie to them because you don't want them mad at you. But like, you're a grown woman. Like, own up to your shit. And she just like went off, and I was like, yes, yes.
That's why. That's another reason why the deliberations are so fucking delicious. Because everyone's like, all right, like you did this shit, so you're going in. Like, and then like she's like, well, I think it should be the second person who dropped. And then like, yeah, that's me. And then Jemmye's like, so that's your vote then? I was like,
like Jemmye's just so real. There's so many so real people like that just say the thing, and I agree with everything. It was just so funny. And Kendall just like wasn't able to like, there's so many big personalities, and she was only on one season. So she has a friendship with Darrel from their initial season and everything, but she doesn't like, at this point, we'll see how she progresses. Maybe she'll gain a little more confidence, especially after what happens and everything. But yeah, it was I was like, you shot yourself in the foot there by being the only person that refused to drop down. Like, obviously you're going to get put in, you know? And also, like, Anissa winning was so epic. Like,
I love
who's been in the most.
I loved Anissa winning. I love that she just didn't have to worry about that elimination. So she has at least a few days to, like, you know, get her foot in there and, like, make some headways with some alliances or getting people to, like, support her. So, yes, I was definitely happy that Anissa won. How do you guys feel about what Kendall did? Like, she was pretending like she didn't understand the rules when she's up there. He wanted her to step on that damn thing, but she jumps over it. Then she doesn't step on it, and he kind of just, like, forgets about her, goes back to Anissa and Ruthie, who are in their final stage. They were the last two that were standing there. And he didn't make her jump. But they didn't show how that resolved. I kind of felt, I was like, well, what happened there?
She just kind of like sat off to the side. And like, I think it was just kind of like an awkward thing because I think like TJ was just probably like, okay, like I'm not going to like force her to go. But it's kind of like everyone else is doing this. Like Katie's face is busted again. And
but that was the thing is she was like, I don't want to bust my face. And I'm like, yeah, like fair. Like there's no protection on you when you're jumping through planks that are breaking. But I would just like try to like cover my face in some kind of way.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, there's still like the rest of the season to go, right? Like there's going to be more of this shit.
This is like easy.
And now people aren't going to want to work with you in teams and stuff along the way because they know that you might give up easier if you're scared.
Kendall's made this a tough road for herself. She just needed to go in there. She wouldn't have gone into that elimination at all. She wouldn't even have been in consideration, I don't think. Because I heard on the after show that it would have been Ruthie that most people would have ended up voting in because she's smaller. Not everybody knows that like people think of her as really super competitive, like and strong. And so Ruthie would have been most likely voted in as opposed to Kendall. So, you know, Trishelle might have stayed actually. I wonder what would have happened there. No, Ruthie would have won.
I think Ruthie would have won.
Well,
it depends, but.
No, she would have. So the deliberation, we kind of talked a little bit about it already. All I wrote about, okay, so you kind of set it up a little bit, but basically Jisela is like, so what happened there? Like, what happened? And all I wrote down was, what was her explanation? Like, I was trying to follow. I didn't understand what her explanation was. I was like, what?
I think it was also because they like, cut it because it was like it just like went on and on because it just looked like and then she just like it was like this montage of her like explaining like what happened and it was just so funny because everyone was like what is this woman doing like looking at each other and like rolling their eyes like oh
I was doing the same thing. I'm like all you really need to say, girl, is like, I'm sorry guys, I was scared and I didn't want to bust up my face. It won't happen again. Like, I think I got over it. It was just, I just had stage fright. I couldn't do it. And like, they'd been like, oh, okay. But like the fact that she's trying to like kind of lie, but what is she lying about? Like,
well, that's an interesting thing that you said, like about the after show about Jisela being like, we're all 40s, like we're all in our 40s, like, come on. And that's the thing that's kind of interesting. I see, like, I would just assume that she was like there and she was like, just scared shitless right. Because I mean everybody there is like pretty intimidating, especially like they've done more challenges than her and more recently than her, so I bet she was just like, oh my god, like there's no good answer that I could come up with that will satisfy these demons and beasts, so I'm just gonna
monsters, like as Ace would call them,
or monsters like Ace would call them.
I'm just so confused though. Like all she really like she could have gotten out of that pretty easily. I'm just like, sorry guys, I was really scared. I'm embarrassed. Like I will be doing better next time. I'm so sorry if I disappointed you. Whatever.
Yeah.
I voted her in, but like they just wouldn't be against her, I think. I think now she's a person that people don't care about and they will throw her in now. It's just like you're always looking for a good reason to throw people in that you won't feel bad about, you know? And so she's kind of has that rule for herself. I see her probably getting thrown in multiple times. Why not? the only person she has really protecting her is going to be Darrel and Derrick, right?
Yeah.
And maybe not even Derrick.
Yeah, he has other people.
Yeah, that's true. But like they're on the same Road Rules season, I believe, right? I think so. I think so.
The flashback to Road Rules when Darrell had hair.
Oh my God, he's so cheesy.
That sent me. Oh my God, that was too much.
I mean, I want to have like all their pictures of them back in their day, like their biopics. Like I need to see what we're working with here. So Sherelle says the challenge All Stars has been better than the last couple seasons of the challenge. We are with you here, Sherelle. Like it's giving me everything that I need in the challenge and what I've been missing. And I just love it.
Sherelle and Darrell.
Mm-hmm. What the actual hell was that deliberation with Kendall? I thought she was having a mental moment. I'm still so confused. We are too, girl. We are too. I don't know what happened. I'm surprised that TJ let Kendall let that Kendall thing go down. Maybe because it's OGs, or maybe like there was more that happened.
Like really, if someone says like, no, I can't, or like they're just gonna sit down, then it's sort of like, okay, you're disqualified then. Like, you know.
Yeah. I wish he chirped her a little bit. Agreed. Kendall better get it together. Darrell's not going to ride for her this whole season with her antics, but he's still defending her quite a bit. I don't know. I mean, I guess he's going to have, like, he's known her for over 20 years. Like, I get that 100%. But, like, I think he might need to, like, move away from her because she seems like she's not going to be good for his game, really.
Yeah.
He might have to hold the court.
I will comment on this later.
Okay. Exactly. Darrell got his eye on the money. Exactly. He needs to let her go, I think. He's set up for the win 2 eps in a row. I need her till the end. She's such a mom. I love it. I'm really happy with her. In the other draft that I'm doing, I had her. She was my last pick on my my team. And then I was like, yes! What a good last pick in the end, because it was like between her or Ace I had to pick, and I went with Jisela. I was like, I'm gonna go with Jisela. Like, I like her fire. Like, she's probably learned from her last season, however many years ago. I'm like, let me go with her. And I'm like, I'm very proud that I have her on my team because I could see her going far.
Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got a fun personality and she's looking great. So
her confessionals are so good.
Yeah.
And when you guys watch her on the after show, you're gonna be like, she's stealing the show. She's good. She's good.
Watch it.
Okay, so then this is where the wheels start falling off the bus here. So they get back from the deliberation, and Trishelle is upstairs doing, I think, her makeup and maybe packing or something, because Trishelle's automatically going in because she was the first to drop in the daily. Derrick comes up, I think it was, and decides to just tell her like what went down in the deliberation. And Katie gets upset by the fact that her best friend and roommate.
Trishelle gets upset.
What did I say? Katie? I meant to say Trishelle. Trishelle gets upset that Katie, her best friend and roommate, did not come up and let her know right away that who she was going to be going up with or going against in the what's it called? Arena.
Which is so funny because like when they were talking before, like when Mark, Anissa, Kellyanne, Trishelle, I can't remember who else was there.
Nehemiah was there.
Nehemiah. And it was just kind of like this, like, yeah, okay, it's gonna be Kendall. And she was like, oh, whatever, like you guys decide, like, you know, and was just kind of like flippant about it.
Yeah,
so like she was like that, and then like she didn't ask anybody. She wasn't like, hey, as soon as you come back from deliberation or as soon as you guys make a choice, like let me know.
And she got the person that she like requested at first and was like, that's who I would want. And like Katie hadn't gone upstairs yet and you hadn't come downstairs yet.
Yeah,
so
and she wanted food.
Literally, this whole fight was out of actually nothing. This 16-year whatever friendship life thing that they've now shattered is actually over absolutely nothing. I do not understand.
Well, Yeah, I definitely don't understand. But if I break it down, I think that they're both really emotional people. I think that when they were growing up, Katie probably allowed Trishelle to be emotional and like kind of use emotional manipulation tactics to like get Katie to do what she wants and be the type of friend that she wanted. And Katie just never said no or did her own thing. And so I think that Trishelle now, like this is the dynamic she's expecting from Katie, for Katie to be like, no, like make her feel good, make her not feel upset. But Katie's a grown-ass woman doing her own thing, going to make herself some dinner. Like she's going to come up and tell you we're going to talk to you after. But I also think that Trishelle was stewing a bit because when she didn't feel that Katie talked to her about who she thinks she should go against, and they didn't have a lot of like discussions about stuff like that. So I think she was already getting angry, and I think anything that Katie did, she would have been doing it wrong because Trishelle wanted to be mad at Katie for not treating her as a friend as she was expecting her to. So.
For sure, and that's the thing, that it's unfortunate that Trishelle still hasn't really like figured out a way to articulate that, because when this fight really like got going and we could see like on the bottom of the screen it was like 4:12 a.m. and they like go into the kitchen and like Katie is just like telling Anissa, like, or was it Arissa, like, what the hell, like I'm mom, like I have like we don't live together, this is like not a thing. And like Trishelle just like came in there like a bat out of hell. Like I think she was drinking wine too, and was just like doing her like sort of like incoherent Trishelle thing that she like was doing like 10, 12, 15, like 16 years ago. And you're like, oh my God, no, Trishelle, like we're rooting for you to not be this way anymore. And like,
Sasha, we want her to be this way.
Of course, I was like loving, I was like cackling like in the dark, like into my cocktail, like, yes, Trishelle, give me this. But like also it is crazy because it's like, and Katie's like, okay, yeah, this is insane. Like, and the thing that I thought was so weird, so what you're saying, Chantele, was like Katie was the one that would always like be like the one that would like placate Trishelle and be like, okay, like do your thing, whatever. But in that fight, Trishelle was the one that was like, I would like clean you up and like do all this stuff. Like when we like lived together, and then Katie's like, we lived together 16 years ago. Like, this is crazy.
I mean, I don't know what happened when they were living together. I don't know, obviously, what Trishelle's referencing, but...
And that's the thing that's kind of incoherent, because it's like, what are you referencing? Are you talking about when you guys would, like, go out to the bar and, like, clean her puke up? Like, what are you saying?
And also, it doesn't matter because it's been so long. And you had a friendship after that. So if you did things and got, like, whatever, that shouldn't be something you're bringing back into it now because you already dealt with whatever that thing that you dealt with. Otherwise, you wouldn't be friends now. Like, you're not going to hold something against someone, if you know what I mean, from that long ago, if you already have a friendship continuing with them.
So this is then it comes back to this thing, which is interesting, which I can't remember if it was Jisela that said it, but like everybody just like, as soon as everyone came back in this kind of environment, you just like reverted back to like that age.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's something about that environment. And, you know, maybe it is that thing, like if you get yourself into a high school reunion type of situation like that, it would be, you would have somebody stomping around the cabin at 4:12 a.m. with red wine in hand.
Yeah, it would happen. Like I mentioned this before, but like, you know, if you go back home and you haven't visited home in a while, you kind of revert back to whatever age you were last living in that house with your parents and maybe siblings. Like, you know, that's why these fights happen around the holidays, is because, no, I'm a woman, I'm an adult now, stop treating me like a child. Like, you know, like that kind of energy happens. Because you kind of revert back to the roles that you were when you were last in that environment with each other. And so I think that that's a case of that. They both grew up and grew separately, but they haven't grown up together. And I think that that's why Katie at the end of the episode kind of says, like, I think that we've grown apart because they didn't grow up together, basically. Like they kind of are stuck in the relationship they had when they were last living together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Trishelle showed that she hasn't changed from who she was on Rivals 2 and yelling at Anissa. Well, I would say that she has still changed, but she hasn't learned how to resolve issues with anybody that she had a close relationship with. I think that she was able to put her tail between her legs and look at the wrong that she's done with Anissa because they weren't that close of friends. I don't think that she has the capacity to look at herself and her own wrongdoing within a friendship and take it with the same level of maturity. So I'm like, kinda. Do you think she's changed, Michelle?
I mean, yeah, I think she's changed because of that reason, but like, there's obviously more change that needs to happen.
Maybe it's like, maybe it's the drinking though, because I don't know if she was drinking when she had the conversation with Anissa. Maybe because she was that side comes out more easily. Not to always go back to astrology signs, but Trishelle is a Scorpio and Katie's a Cancer, both water signs, both very emotional. And I think that they usually go really well together, but their emotions will get into play if everything gets kind of out of sorts. So I think that's why you can see that they're having these emotional outbursts, and alcohol also really facilitates emotional responses. So I think that is also why they are kind of splashing, we'll say, instead of flashing. Like everyone said, the house turns you back to your 20-something-year-old self. Trishelle fell into that with Katie and Katie was not here for it. Friends for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. I think, okay, do you guys agree with me? But I think that they could get over it or past it if you have like a mature conversation with maybe a mediator, with somebody that's going to allow them to be like, I hear your point. This is her point, and allow them to talk instead of just yelling at each other.
I don't see them doing that though.
Yeah, mediators are expensive.
And Katie seems
I had to do mediation, and they're not cheap.
Yeah,
Really?
like Katie
They're
seems
like $500 an hour.
Jesus.
Wow.
Katie seemed pretty accepting of the fact that her and Trishelle are not going to have a relationship moving forward. Like she just seemed very resolved in that. You know, I could see Trishelle trying to reach out again, and who knows what the future holds. But Katie just kind of seemed like, you know what? No, this is the last sign that I needed. There's a reason that we're not close with each other anymore, and I don't want this kind of person in my life.
Hi, Jose. Hi, Chris. Okay, so Chris says, I love my old school queens drinking wine and starting drama at 4 a.m. I mean, we're here for it. We do want her to grow, but can she do her growing on her own time and not on my show? Trishelle had wine earlier when Katie finally came upstairs after getting dinner. They were drinking. Okay, so she was fueled by the booze, and she probably just got herself like worked up. Not good, not good. But great to watch. So that's pretty much what happened before. We didn't get a club scene or a dance scene tonight, did we?
No.
Ooh. I guess the 4 a.m. fight constitutes the club scene.
That was like my cup of noodles moment. I was happy with that.
Yes, it was quite good, especially like the angles of it. I think like probably the cameraman was like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" Like, because it's like coming from like upstairs down. I'm like, "What is this angle?" It was probably someone's like, "Wake up, stuff's happening." So then we get to the arena. So we know that Trishelle's going to be going in, and that Kendall was the house vote. And as Michelle already pointed out, what is it called? Does it have a name? Not so fast. Not so fast. Nice little pun there. Also, one of my favorite challenges because it tests all the things that you need to have, but you don't necessarily need to be some super strong physical beast that could like be one athlete that could take someone out. Like to win, like you can be any type of strength to win, any type of height, any type of background, like anything. So I love what they have to get this really long and heavy rope, and they have to wrap it around this apparatus and make as many knots and make it as difficult as possible for the other person, because they're going to be switching and undoing that knot and pulling all the rope into a designated spot. So love this challenge. It felt to me like Trishelle kind of gave up halfway through it. There's a part where she was just kind of sitting, catching her breath. And I'm like, catch your breath in a moment. Like, you got to keep going here if you want to win, because Kendall wasn't stopping. And
it definitely seemed at first like Kendall was like unable to even get the rope to the thing, and that Trishelle was doing a better job of getting some height and all this stuff. So at first I was like, oh, maybe Trishelle's going to do this, but she gassed out and then just gave up on herself. I agree.
Yeah. As soon as I saw it was, because I was like, oh my gosh, like when Kendall got picked, I was like, Trishelle's going to beat her. As soon as I saw it was not so fast, I was like, Trishelle's going home.
I think Trishelle could have won in a lot of other things because she would have had more heart. And I think that Kendall would have been apprehensive of, like, if it was like a pole wrestling or something like that, where she might get hurt or, like, you know, her nose broken or something. So I think that she might have bailed. But yeah, this one is something that, like I'm saying, like, anybody can really get done if they just focus. And I think that Kendall had more focus.
But not only focus, but also like endurance.
Yeah.
Kendall really has that. She clearly is someone who works out a lot. And it was so funny how Trishelle's like, don't sit on the beach and drink cocktails all day, you know? Like train maybe if you want to be on the challenge. Like she kind of like trolls herself, which I thought was funny.
She knows that she wasn't ready to come back for, like, she wasn't ready for this. And I think that she just allowed herself to kind of give up. Jose wants to know who was the second to drop after Trishelle. So yes, it was Jisela that was second to drop. So obviously she's not going to want herself to go in. So anybody else, of course. Okay, so Nicole says Katie doesn't care that much. She's 40 plus and married with kids. That's more than enough drama in her life. Absolutely. I was worried that maybe she would want to quit and be like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, this is not what I signed up for. And like, you know, she does say to Trishelle, like, I'll go against you, like, vote me in, like, let's just do this, which would have been amazing. Imagine.
Oh my God. I just love Katie's confidence with that. She's just back with the challenges. She was always like that too, because there was that she always got put in to eliminations after elimination, and then everyone was so disappointed when she would beat them. It was always such random things, and she would just she wasn't gonna quit. The one where they had to be underwater and she just like didn't come up until someone like brought her up. And she's like, did I win? Like, she doesn't care. She will go hard. I love it.
So Anissa is a challenge trivia goddess. Absolutely, Jose. Kendall executed that elimination perfectly. She did. And it's not about how many bars you go through. It's about the knots. Absolutely. And Darrel was a great coach. 100%. She definitely had the right person coaching her, but she did have the endurance to be able to withdraw that heavy rope. I think the pulling that rope would be the hardest part. And making knots, like knowing to make it difficult and annoying to get up, like to get through. And so having Darrell's eyes on her, helping her out was really, I think, definitely very important.
I agree with all of that. And it was really interesting to see at the end when she won, and you could just see like her like taste for blood was like in her eyes, and she was like, I remember this. This is a challenge now. Like, now I want to stay here and win. And I was like, there we go. So that's going to be so much more interesting to watch now. Like,
and she did say, she's like, I think I need to like play a little bit more strategically. And you know, she at this point, yes, it's only her second challenge ever, but she's never lost. She's got a perfect track record, and she did eliminations in her first season. So she doesn't know what it's like to lose. And you know, she's going to be a hard competitor. So I'm excited about it. I actually am very excited that she got put into this elimination, a fire under her ass, and like, let's see her going hard. We've already seen in the preview, she does get into some sort of argument with Beth, in which Beth says to her, are you calling me a liar? So I think that that's going to be something of Kendall trying to like maneuver game or something, which I'm all for, especially like starting up, like getting Beth pissed at you is just so funny. So.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna do this season.
I'm gonna miss Trishelle drama, but I think that'll be interesting.
Someone else will emerge, I'm sure.
I'm sure, yeah.
So whoever's in the soundtrack should get a raise. It's incredible. The entire tone competition, I guess, exactly, of the competition was so good. Fun, lighthearted, history, drama is a perfect mix. Agreed, Jose. It's just, we're loving it. I can't say good things about the season. Jisela put Ace and Kendall into the arena before they even opened their mouths at Deliberation. She ain't playing this time. That is true. She basically has gotten her pick so far. I wonder if like it's just coincidence with circumstance, or if she does have that much of a kind of reign on everybody in the house.
Yeah, man, these deliberations are incredible. Like, they're just so good. There's so much, and everyone is playing it so in such an interesting, unique way. Like, there's some people who are just like Jisela and Jemmye, like just like going like right out and saying like, okay, this person, wait, like, so now you're saying this, and like they're not getting in trouble for that, and then it sets a tone. So when they do that, then everyone else just right away is like, yeah, okay. Ace. Good. Yeah, okay. Like, there's just not even a second where people are like, They're like, oh yeah, that's what's up. All right, let's do it.
And it also so happens that the people that they've been doing it to so far are not going to fight back. So, like, I can't imagine Jisela doing that to Jemmye and be like, yeah, I think that Jemmye should go in. And Jemmye just taking it.
Oh my God.
Oh, no.
That gave me a heart palpitation.
It's not the real thing, Fanta. I didn't mean to say such horrible things. Bad words. I'm sorry. Gary. And we don't recover as quickly as we used to. Can't club every week, Chantele, unless it's a book club. Don't kill me. I'm the same age as those old folks, okay? I'm actually the same age as Trishelle and Katie, which is crazy. I mean, I'm older. They're all born in 79.
Wild. Chantele doesn't have a single wrinkle, y'all.
But legit though, like they're like, her and Katie are both 79 babies like me. So that's also why I like relate to them, because we were actually the same age doing, like, when I was watching them, I was like, they're the same age as me.
Oh yeah, that would be like so fun to be like, oh my God, like this is like my life. This is like what I'm going through right now.
Right. And like same with even on Big Brother with Janelle, she's she's a year younger than me. And so I'm like, oh my God, like she's so like my age. And so I guess it's also why I have like a kinship to these people. It's like, I felt they gave me like, people my age can do these things. That's so fun. And even now, like, people my age can do these things. That's so Okay, so loved how Kendall went from frightened and awkward to kicking ass in the elimination, loving what everybody is bringing. You can tell how much TJ is enjoying himself. This is true. TJ is enjoying himself. He's like, he seems to be having fun being the host here. Why do you think, I mean, obviously the obvious stuff, like he knows all these people. He has a lot of history with all these people. They are older and they're funny, whatnot. But, you know, you'd think with all these explosions and like all these tough eliminations and stuff like that, that he would be happy, but he doesn't seem to be having as much fun. Do you have any thoughts of why?
Like I don't know. I think he's having a lot of fun in.
No, I'm talking about in the original, like in regular, in Double Agents.
Yeah, I think he seems to be having fun in Double Agents, but I think he's just as annoyed as we are, like with Fessy and having to deal with him. Like, I think that's it. Having him around would bring anybody down.
Yeah, it's just not. It's also, that's the thing. It's like TJ has to be there, and it's fun for him to be entertained, right? Like, if nobody's doing everything and it's just, I'm sure the format of the challenge, like it changing, has probably also, he's probably been like, oh, it's like not, we're going to all these like cold places now. Like it's not, you know, and it's funny because I was rewatching the first Fresh Meat today, and there was like one, like at the end of the credits, there's just like bloopers of TJ. He's just like dicking around and like making like all of these jokes, and he's just like, okay, and Katie, for this one you have to smoke through, like you have to smoke a cigarette this entire time. Like he's so funny, like he's just like has all of that, and it's like, oh, like I wish he could see that like more, but I just don't really think he has that much to work with in the main season.
True.
Yeah, he doesn't seem as close to them. And I feel like, he has the respect, like a lot of people like Wes and CT and stuff like that have all this respect from TJ, and but it's like they've also grown up together for the last 20 years, 17 years, or however long it's been. So they are old friends as well. And so I think that with not having as many of his buddies on the show, it's probably also just not as much fun.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
These new people, I don't really know them, and they're not really doing anything that's making me be wow. You might get a few great elimination. I'm sure we'll be seeing you again. Basically.
Yeah, great hall brawl, Amber.
Oh my God. I can't. The MVP of the season says Bessie. I can't with you. Your double hall brawl wins. I can't. Ugh. I like the episode, but for Trishelle being mad at Katie for something so stupid and everything she just said just shows the world that she's not matured at all since we've last seen her. Trishelle, maybe.
Her old iconic name.
Trishelle. The episode kind of showed that the older someone gets, a friendship may not last that long, as in Katie and Trishelle's case. And Katie doesn't look like she's hasn't really aged a day. True, she still looks very, very young. I think their friendship could have maybe worked out if they were living in the same city and they still had to do things together, but in an adult form. It seems like every time they see each other, it's kind of in a situation where they're roommates, or they're not doing regular life together. They're not hanging out with her kids. She's not coming over for a dinner party with her husband, so they haven't been having a bit more of a mature environment for their relationship to kind of flourish. So yeah, I think they outgrew each other.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Even though I think that they could figure it out, but I don't know if they have it in them. Kendall and Darrell are so cute. I'm old enough to remember these seasons. Me too, Chris. Me too. I like the challenge trivia questions about past seasons compared to true and false questions from Double Agents. Double Agents was kind of easy. I would rather have past season stuff, but I love trivia no matter what. But it made you really think which competitors have and have not kept up with past challenges. So yeah, I did see on the after show that definitely Nehemiah and Ruthie both studied. I would assume that Anissa's smart enough she would know them, but she probably brushed up on them just to be in the know about everybody that could be on the season. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's come back to win,
Yeah, definitely.
Ruthie will bring the drama. Do you think she's going to be in a fight with somebody?
Yes. Yeah, with Anissa.
Okay.
Anissa says something rude about her, or Anissa's saying to someone else about her, Ruthie always gets paranoid and jumps to conclusions. And Ruthie's like, "What did you say?" I mean, to be fair, yeah, you just walked in on someone talking about you.
Oh, Ruthie's on my team on my other job. I was like, yes, yes, yes. But she's not on my team.
Well, Trishelle's on your team, so you got 5 points for the fight.
Okay, true. I wrote that. That's the only point that I wrote down so far. So Trishelle, 5 points.
5 points for Katie, and
Yeah.
I think I have Katie.
Yes, you do.
And then 10 points for Kendall.
Yay, 10 for me.
And and Nehemiah gets 5 points.
And that's 5 for me. Girl.
Oh,
Any of those people, I was like, oh.
sorry, Queen.
Just to remind you guys, we're doing a draft here. And so far, I'm in the lead. I have 5, 10, 20 points. Fanta, how many do you have?
I have 0 right now. Okay. Michelle.
And Michelle has 5.
I have 5 points.
Are you making fun of me? I'm gonna win this one, guys. I learned the hard way. Stop it, Fanta. I'm going to. You know it. I learned from my mistakes on Double Agents.
Rude.
81. Yes, you're in my club. Thank you. But you're not in the 79, baby. But Anissa took a shot of Ruthie's drinking. At Ruthie's drinking. Oh, really? Well, I think that she.
Oh.
That's not a good thing. Anissa, really? I mean, I need to see what happens there. But I do remember that Ruthie left Real World Hawaii, I think it was, because of drinking. And then she went into a program, I think.
Who did? Ruthie?
Ruthie. I think that's how she left. I don't think she finished Hawaii. somebody has to correct me, but I think she definitely left a season for drinking. I mean, I think it was her Real World season. I like how the last person is automatically sent to elimination. Yes, and then everyone else just gets to vote in the second person. Need this layout back to the regular challenges. Yes, it puts people having to compete and not help their alliances. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff in this season, it is going like it is an ode to the old school. It's not like life having a lifesaver. Like you lose on your daily immediately into elimination, which I love, and it makes you forget all about skulls. Like you're just like, oh yeah, like it's just kind of such a like whatever gimmick.
I'm so down with the skulls. Hopefully they take a page out of this and go back to one of their old formats.
They don't need skulls. They don't need skulls. They just need better casting, and they need like some of these like old school rules, and that problem will fix itself, and it will be super interesting.
I actually agree with you. And I was all about the idea about the skulls of like making people go into eliminations. But my opinion, yeah, I don't think we necessarily need it if we have a little bit of shifts in casting for sure.
Yeah, that's all they need to fix.
Well, and then also like the reason why they're putting in the skulls is because they think it's going to create drama and like, oh, people are going to go down. And there's going to be these epic eliminations. But they were forgetting what makes eliminations epic. It's when people don't want to go in there. It's like, why you're putting me in there? Like that's what makes it epic. And then they go in and they crush it and they come out victorious when people are trying to throw them down. People wanting to go in, but then just like kind of wanting to choose their fate. It's not really dramatic because they have to go in no matter what. But when people don't want to go in, that's where the fire comes from and the magic. So they need to tweak it in some way to realize that that's the case. I always love when, if you don't do well, you don't get to the luxury of not going in. You go in. If you suck, you go in. And it would make people not make people try harder. Like Anissa wouldn't have gassed out with Fessy when they did that mini challenge. She's like, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. It would prevent that happening. Right?
And that's what I hate too. I'm like, I hate when people throw dailies because it's like, you guys realize this is a TV show that we watch for entertainment. When you guys throw dailies, you are like wrecking half of the show for us. Mm-hmm. Like you realize that, right? We're watching this for entertainment.
Like when they gave it to Fessy and whomever, like that ice one. I was like, they just all decided to like let them have the win. I was like,
yeah,
what?
It's like, that's so boring to watch. You want to be like biting your nails to like the very end and like screaming, going like, yeah. That's like how it is. So yeah, I would really love to see them. Skulls can go. like Michelle said, it was a great idea. At first, they kind of fixed it this season, but I'm tired of it. I would rather them just go back to that old format.
Yeah, and maybe like having a prize for the winner for each of these dailies. Like just do that too.
Like a $500 or $600 gift certificate to Burger King or something. Like, I don't know.
Anything. Give them incentives to win and incentives to not lose. So, who's our favorite season of the challenge? I love them all, but I most recently watched The Duel. So The Duel is just on the tip of my tongue right now.
Rivals.
I have to watch that one. The first one.
Honestly, Fresh Meat 2 is one of my favorite seasons, and also the Duel 2.
I'm getting there. No spoilers.
Oh, you haven't watched it?
No, I have watched them all, but I like literally can't remember. Like as I was rewatching Fresh Meat, I was like, I literally don't remember any of this. And then when Evan had his like hernia, I was like, oh, I remember this. Now, but like I literally I watched that stuff when it aired. Like I don't.
Yeah, me too.
I don't remember.
Laurel was like on on a porch yelling at somebody.
Yeah, I mean she was yelling the whole time she was in there. But yeah, she like busted her knee.
Who was she with though? Was she with the Miz on that one?
No. She was with Evan.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm thinking of the right one, but I'm just mistaking my memory. Maybe I'll rewatch that with you right now, so we can have some chats, chitty chats. Okay, only a few more comments, and then we're out of here. Any thoughts on Trishelle's exit? Were you ladies a fan of her? Do you think that this is the last time we'll see her? I'm okay with her leaving. I want people there that want the money. I do like her entertainment factor, absolutely. And if Kendall had gone and she'd stayed, I'd be equally as happy. But I'm okay with her going. I was a fan of her just because she was so messy, and I loved her season of The Real World. So I was just I grew up with her, and I just like the antics, just like an messy older sister, or a messy sister, you know? So, you too, Fanta?
Yeah, I mean, I always have a soft spot in my heart for Trishelle. She was like one of my first crushes, and I just I want her to do well, but I'm here for the mess.
Yeah, always.
With the mess. I can't wait for the challenge next week. It's going to get nasty, absolutely. And it's funny, we're on the final next week, and we're talking about episode 3 of the All-Star season. You know?
Oh yeah.
This episode, I feel some foreshadowing happening, and I really think that TJ is going to be talking to Kendall or Arissa when he says, "All right, hope to see you never," or "Who do you think it is?"
I don't think it's going to be Kendall.
So I don't remember him saying that, but I was told that it seems as though the person walking away looks like someone blonde. I could see it being Kendall, because
Kendall would be the only person, because it can't be Trishelle. It's not going to be Jemmye.
It could be Beth, maybe.
I could easily see it being Beth. I would put my money on Beth before Kendall.
Beth has the record of the most quits.
Just this isn't for me.
She's just quit so much.
I also think they may have added different things together. It might not even be a blonde. It could easily be a guy. Honestly, I think they spliced stuff together, because when they show people Trishelle was there, but that was actually a clip from the first one that they were putting right after that moment. So it made it seem she's still there. So I don't know. I'm going to hope to be surprised.
Making us think it's somebody that it's completely not who it is. I don't know. I'm thinking, though, if it is a blonde person, I could see it either being Beth or Kendall. Yeah. I mean, imagine being around Teck, and then imagine being around some of these Big Brother types. I know who I'd rather host. Yeah, no, you're totally right. The personalities of these OG players they're fun, they're light, they know how to make good TV. They're fans of the show, they're fans of TJ. So I mean, it makes sense. Makes sense. Not boring. LOL. I LOL'd when Katie says we haven't lived together, and I think it was 16 or 20 years. I don't know. It's been a while. 2 decades? Jesus. I was rewatching the Battles of the Seasons, and I had no idea Big Easy and Devin were oh my God!
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh wow. They were such a thing. Oh yeah.
I completely forgot, Jose. Thank you for that memory.
That's so funny. I was just thinking about that today. About Devin just sitting on his lap and just I
totally forgot about this. Okay, that might be what I rewatch. That one. I laughed pretty hard when TJ told Katie something like, "Oh my God, Katie, how are you the only person being an only person in elimination?" It just felt like TJ was done in the moment. His disappointment was so genuine. Yeah, I mean, I think that he just couldn't believe that saying such a silly number. Any thoughts on Trishelle apologizing to Anissa? Now you just owe Katie a big ol' apology. I mean, we talked about how we liked the fact how she seemed to have matured when she gave her apology to Anissa, and I do believe her, and I do think that she has done some work and realized that there's some microaggressions and whatnot that she was displaying towards Anissa. And I agree that she does owe Katie a big ol' apology. Do you think she'll give it to her?
Maybe eventually.
I don't know. Trishelle is she's a real wild card. She might wait another 8 years.
That's true.
Apologize to Katie. Like, who knows?
Nicole says, "Fan, calm down, lady. You have like 1,000 points on double agents." Okay, so yes, Ruthie did
very funny. It's not enough.
Pardon? It's not enough?
Enough points.
You're not winning this one,
It's not going to be enough unless I win. So I'm not winning anything. I'm realizing.
I mean, are you actually going to win this one or like the other one? Double agents?
Me?
Yeah, like or is
there's
Michelle?
No way. As much as I would like to, there's no way I'm gonna win double agents. And like, I don't have faith.
Well, with that attitude, no, you don't give up on anything till it's over. I haven't even begun to count my points up. I have no idea where I'm sitting at right now. I have it all written out, and I'm gonna count it later, before next week's episode.
Shame on me. I had a quitter's attitude in a challenge podcast.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm just saying, you recognize it. Let's change it up, you know?
Yeah, but anyways, I'm still gonna win this one. So Jose says that Not So Fast is also my favorite elimination. It has everything and challenges the people in endurance, smart, strength, speed, all of the above. 100% with you here, Jose. LOL, it's Arissa. She's in the trailer flicking them off in the arena. Really? I mean, I could see her quitting for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't. She just came to get a couple.
It could also be a different moment.
Yeah.
But I could also.
I don't think they would have like showed, because they know that there's a bunch of nerds like us that are like.
Yeah.
Watching everything. So I'm just scared to see like Arissa doing anything more. I just really don't want her to get hurt.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. Like Jose is saying, like, I noticed this episode, Arissa's very thin. Yeah, she's very thin. I can see her being like, I can't do that. I don't want to do that. She quits a lot of challenges on her own season. She's just like in fear. I can't do it. I can't. Like she says no often to some of these dailies and stuff like that. So I could be really surprised if it was like, there's a lot of things that I can see her not wanting to do. I can see her not wanting to do a hall brawl. I can see her not wanting to do a lot of things. So, she could, if they spliced it, made it look like someone blonde, but it's actually Arissa, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just leave it at that with me starting off the season at 20 points.
I'm at 5. Don't worry about it. The season is young. There's lots to happen.
I appreciate that, Michelle.
And you know what? Chantele lost someone this week, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Did? Oh, Trishelle.
Yeah, Trishelle. So, I have hope. All right.
But I did lose somebody this week. Okay, who do we think is going to go next week? Oh, it's probably going to be maybe Arissa or Teck, somebody that's kind of thin. I think will go next week for sure. My list, yeah. Trishelle was one on the bottom though. I think she was my last pick, wasn't she? Or one of mine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, ladies, like, what a way to end the week. I love it. It's just so much lighter and more fun. I feel like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love talking to you about double agents, but like, we're always just like, F Fessy.
I know, we're always just so like
mad.
Yeah.
But who, I don't know who said it, and one of the people in the comments was like, and Fussy. I love that being his name, Fussy. So I'm gonna do my best to try to call him Fussy all the time.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm so down.
I'm down with that for sure.
All we got for you today, but if you haven't done so already, we would love it if you please subscribe right down below on our way to 1,000 subscribers. And to help us get there, if you send me a screenshot to Reality Realness with 3 S's, I will put you in a draw for a $100 Amazon gift card. And if you're in Canada, I will give you that in cold hard cash / email transfer. So do that. Just subscribe. Like, get your friends to subscribe. Your mom, your dad, your dog, whoever has an email account. Subscribe to Reality Realness with 3 S's so we can get our 1,000 subscribers. And then I also we're having a little treat for my girls here. So we want them to get a present too, right, guys?
Yeah.
So make it happen so I can give these ladies a gift. Please. Love you guys.